Here we are with Michael Ellis. Michael came to Leerburg to help produce one of our next training videos. The specific one is on motivation and play with your dog. And we thought it would be a good idea to just sit down and talk to Michael a little bit about his dog training school, and then specifically about the individual classes in the school, because a lot of people can go to Michael's website, read about the classes, and we thought it would be interesting to go into a little bit more detail on how Michael lays the class out, what kind of people are coming to this class, what classes are prerequisites for other classes. We're going to start with the obedience intensive. Now, I've been out to Michael's school for 3.5 weeks. I didn't have the opportunity yet to go on out to the obedience intensive, but Cindy did, and she videotaped it, and we used a lot of that footage in some of our training videos. But I'll let Michael explain what his thoughts are on what's covered in the obedience intensive and who should take it.
Sure. The Obedience Intensive is our longest course. It's 2 weeks long, and we call it our core course. This is designed to familiarize you with our approach to dog training in general and the tools that we're going to use through our entire dog training career. So this is the nuts and bolts of how we do things. So we we're not super strict about the prerequisite thing, but this is the one we recommend that everybody take before you take any of our other classes. It's going to give you the most thorough introduction to how we do things outside of the puppy class, which is designed for small puppies. I'll talk about that in a minute. But if somebody is very familiar with our approach to training, they've watched all the videos, they've been to my seminars and things like that, then some of this course might be redundant. But if you're not very familiar with the way we do things, this would be a great stepping off point. We cover how we break behavior down, we cover our communication system, we cover motivation, we talk about the tools that we use to create behavior, luring, spatial pressure, leash pressure, all the things that we do, and kind of the foundations of how we shape behavior, put behavior on cue, and break behaviors down. We focus in this class on what we would call basic behaviors, not complicated behavior chains. Our advanced obedience class takes over after this class and teaches you about more advanced behavior chains, retrieving, jumping, sendaways, those sorts of things. But in this class, it's more like the nuts and bolts of the tools that we're going to use throughout our dog training career. So it is the most kind of thorough introduction to how we do things. And there's discussions on behavior, socialization, and then of course all the mechanics of how we do things. As with all of our classes, it has a relatively evenly divided theory and practical. Your time is spent, so we'll lecture on a topic, we'll demonstrate that topic, you'll get up and do that exercise yourself, so everyone gets hands-on coaching, as well as hearing about it and seeing about it. And then the classes are structured such that we're there from 10 to 5 or so every day, plus or minus a little bit. And at the end of every day, we have question and answer period too, for half an hour to an hour at the end of every day. So what comes in, we cover certain material, and this is true of all of our classes. We cover certain material as we go along. You get to practice that material, you get coaching on it, and then at the end of the day, we have a sit-down question and answer, where people can get clarification on any of the stuff they didn't understand, and off-topic stuff as well. So we kind of open that up in order to keep the discussions in class focused on the topics that we're covering. We kind of shelve off-topic questions to the end of the day, but we have plenty of time to talk about, and some very interesting discussions come up in the course of that period as well.
One of the things that I noticed in the classes that I went to is some people brought their dogs. Mm-hmm. A lot of people didn't bring their dogs. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it depends on the class. So for instance, the obedience intensive, you must bring a dog. And if you can't bring your dog, then we can arrange a dog for you. So we have an agreement with several local shelters that lend us dogs for people. This class is very practically oriented. So you get the theory behind what we do, but there's no way you're going to be able to do this stuff unless you get up and do it yourself. But when it comes to the classes like the electronic collar class, or our protection theory class or some of our puppy development. Like people will come to those classes in order to get the idea and the theory down and watch it the process unfold so that they're ready to do it at a point in their life when they're ready to do it. So we have lots of people, for instance, take the puppy class before they get a puppy. Lots of people want to get a puppy, come to it when they have their puppy, but lots of people want to prepare for getting a puppy, and so they'll take the puppy development class before they get a puppy. In the electronic collar class, I would say only maybe 30% of the people bring a dog to that class. People are interested in how that process works, but they're not necessarily ready with their own dog to go through that process, and it's dependent. It takes practice to do that, but you're going to be better off when you get to that stage if you've been prepared with the methodology.
On the obedience intensive, how many times a year do you run that?
We run it right now about 4 times a year, and this whole last year it's filled. We've actually had to turn people away, so we're now talking about ways to offer it more frequently. So I'm bringing some people on board to help out, and we're talking about breaking it up so those classes can overlap, because it's been an extremely popular class. And also almost everybody that's come and taken our classes now, I think I calculated the other day, and we're at 80-some% return rate. So almost everybody that's taken a class has come back to take another. So that's been really nice. But the obedience intensive has been incredibly popular. But 4 times a year for most of the classes right now, but we're going to try to expand on that here over the next year or so.
Cool.
I'm hoping in 2012 that we'll offer it
Well,
more.
I think this will answer a lot of questions for people that are thinking to go out to the class. I can tell you that having been there myself, I'd be in the 80%, and I'm going back. You'll never, ever, ever regret it. And nice people. I mean, that's what really impressed me, was just a lot of nice people. You're going to meet people that you'll probably stay friends with for the rest of your life. I know I still touch bases with some of the people that I met when I was there. So, thank you, Michael.
Sure.